Third, gave up 3 runs, and from when I look at it, when you have somebody young on the hill, you try to get to them early and see if you can rattle them.
27 years old. He's from just north of New York City. He is not going to light up the radar gun. Hardest you'll see is about 91 with a fastball.
And with that fastball, it's a fastball cutter combination that he throws. Predominantly fastball cutter, has a curveball, has a changeup, good changeup too that he will throw, but really predominantly fastball cutter.
Dodgers looking for their 11th sweep of the season. Off we go from Miami with ball 1. Dodgers are 28-4 in their last 32 games. As we'll detail in a little bit, that is rare company in franchise history. On 1-0, Forsythe takes ball 2. On the other side, the Marlins started this season 17-30. That was the second worst record in baseball. Much better since, though, 24-18. It's a pop-up, foul ground at first, and Moore can't get there. A 24-18 record for the Marlins since late May. That's one of the 5 best records in baseball.
Now the Marlins have been playing pretty well down the stretch, as you mentioned, and I mean a lot better than the last time the Dodgers faced them over there at Dodger Stadium, where they took 3 out of those 4. But at the same time, the way the Dodgers have been playing, it doesn't matter who you are and how well you're playing.
A 2-1. That's up, ball 3. This will be their second 9-game winning streak of the season. Season long a 10-gamer in late June. Forsythe, it's a high fly ball to center. Christian Yelich onto the warning track for a loud first out. Take a look at the Dodger lineup, and it is different today once you get through the top 5. Traditional 2, 3, and 4 of Seager, Turner, Bellinger, but then Barnes, Hernandez, and Thompson all making their first starts of the weekend. Dave Roberts picking his spots to get a few guys a day of rest. And then that becomes back-to-back days off with the off day tomorrow. Corey Seager swings at the first pitch. He checks on Yelich. And in the same spot, he's got it. Like it took off on him on the last moment.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, that really had some interesting spin on it, because as you mentioned, Yelich really had a beat on it and looked at, and then all of a sudden he's like, wait a minute, I am not under this ball. Where's it going?
You can see that sometimes when guys are playing in ballparks they're not familiar with, but rarely do you see it from someone in his own park.
That's a good point.
2 flyouts to center, brings up Justin Turner. 370 average to lead the majors, and he is knocking on the door of having enough plate appearances to qualify. So you see his name at the top of that list. Backdoor for a strike.
Justin Turner really doesn't worry about seeing his name on the top of that list. We know he's every single day. It's all about preparation and trying to win that game. And we all know he is going to have enough at-bats by the end of this season. And the way he's gone, we all hope that his name is at the top of the list and the season's over.
On 2-1. He lifts a high fly ball to left center field. Ozuna's on the move at the track, at the wall, and gone. Number 11 for Justin Turner. Back spins its way out of here to start the scoring.
Well, we're going to take a look at the Audi pitch cast, and they wanted the ball away. They get it down in the middle of the plate. And we were just talking about how well Justin Turner's been swinging this entire season. You are not going to get it away with it. And he crushes that.
Up comes Bellinger, and he takes strike 1. What kind of follow-up performance does Bellinger have Not just after the Turner home run, but after the cycle in his 72nd game as a major leaguer. So an 0-2 hole against O'Grady. That's upstairs for ball one. Told Alana after the game last night that something clicked for him in his second to last at bat on Friday night. Wasn't sure what. He just knew that it felt right. Chase is here for strike 3, and the inning comes to a close. But the Dodgers get Rich Hill a lead on a Justin Turner home run. And the Dodger lefty tries to keep things rolling when you come back. Marlins get ready to bat here for the first time in this series finale with a different looking lineup. Martin Prado instead of D. Gordon. Gordon gets the day off. Then it's Stanton, Yelich, and Ozuna. We've gotten used to that this weekend. Tyler Moore makes his first start. So does Dietrich. So does the former Dodger A.J. Ellis. And J.T. Riddle at short in front of Chris O'Grady. We talked about it off of the top. Last 2 starts for Rich Hill particularly good. Last 3 starts he's gone 7 full. If you draw it back 1 start before that, a 173 earned run average over his last 4.
And he has looked really good. And I think the most important thing is the confidence. And even when you talk to Rich Hill in his interviews, you can tell when he says, I'm able to repeat my mechanics. Once he modified his windup, kind of closer more to like pitching out of the stretch, it really has changed things for him, and he's looking to constantly build off the last performance.
Facing Martin Prado. He's hitting leadoff for the first time this year. 1 ball and 1 strike. It's a good offense the Marlins have. Bats have not been the problem this year. It's been on the other side. The pitching has been the biggest issue. A 1-1. Caught the corner. 1-2. First start in 11 days for Rich. Good rest for him. 1 run on 2 hits over 7 innings his last time out. It was against a good offense in Arizona. Starting this one off. Throwing his first curve, and it stays 1-2 on Prado.
Well, you know, Rich Hill will really pitch off the curveball more than he's going to be pitching off the fastball. But at the same time, what we've seen over the last, he has been going out there with the fastball, attacking, and feeling more confident, and also confident with that command.
Like you mentioned, it all kind of goes back to him modifying that windup, trying to maintain his balance through his delivery. Breaking ball wrapped around the plate, and it's 2-2. And the other thing was that the front office approached him and showed him some data that said, look, when you're out of the stretch, you're really good. And so he went into a start expecting that he would pitch exclusively from the stretch. a ground ball to short. Corey Seager gets involved in a heartbeat. 1 out. Last time he was on this mound, September 10th of last year, 7 perfect innings. But of course, the blister issue that had caused him to miss so much time midsummer, early on in his time with the Dodgers. Training staff saw that it was starting to flare up. It was a hot spot on the tip of the finger. Became the only man in the history of baseball to be pulled that deep into a perfect game.
And at the time, it was so hard, and obviously news. Dave Roberts was really looking at big picture, and it's so true because that's exactly why you got Rich Hill, was big picture for the postseason. And even now that he's back with the Dodgers, still in this Dodger uniform, it made sense now because you're thinking he still has blister issues. There was still something that they had to deal with at the beginning of this year.
On the corner, 1-2 on Giancarlo Stanton.
So he was dealing with it last year, obviously, when they got him. So when he's dealing with it, and you're thinking, gosh, I leave him in there, and if it happens to come back, and then you lose him for the postseason.
Strikes him out looking. Like Stanton was waiting for a curveball. He never got it. 2 out.
Well, we were just talking about how he pitches off his curveball, but trying to go out there with that fastball and get some, and he missed his spots. That was just where Stanton was kind of overthinking, and as you mentioned, was looking for something else, because if he was just looking for a fastball and looking for over the plate, he got it.
Christian Yelich takes ball 1. Yeah, so you understand Dave Roberts' thinking, and the big picture was the right decision, but that didn't keep Dave Roberts from feeling horrible about it. 1 ball and 1 strike. Dave's such a conscientious guy, cares so much about his players and their feelings, but he's thinking of the long term with Rich. I don't know who he's talking to right now. Somebody across the way in the Marlins dugout. 1-2. If he throws 2 perfect innings to start today, does it count as a perfect game?
I'd give it to him.
All right. Fair enough. Good enough for me. "37 years old out of Milton, Massachusetts, and an incredible journey he's taken to get to this spot." His 2-2 to Christian Yelich. Outside, full count. He's pitched for just about every organization. That's an exaggeration, but he's been all over. 13th year, his 8th major league team. There have been a couple of teams he was in their system, never pitched in the majors for him. Breaking ball hit gently on the ground is second. Logan Forsythe. He extended back last September. That's 8 perfect innings for Rich Hill. A 1-0 game after 1. Last game here in Miami, Dodgers trying to win 6 of 7 against these Marlins this season. Off to a good start and a Justin Turner solo homer. We got to move that camera. Break it, laying in the water there. All right, what are we doing?
Waterproof cameras now, Joe.
I guess. Chris Taylor to lead off this inning against Chris O'Grady. Only his second start as a big leaguer. Drops one low and inside. Taylor lays off for ball 1. Talked about the journey for Rich Hill. It's been all over the place to get him to this point. O'Grady, it's a similarly winding path. Taylor hits a high fly ball to center. Third guy to do that. Christian Yelich puts it away. So O'Grady in his 6th pro season now. He was drafted by the Angels in 2012. Spent almost his entire time in the Angels system as a reliever, and then last year split between AA and AAA. Still didn't sniff the majors. Was going to open this year in AA, and then on opening day at AA, he was released without a team for a few weeks, and at that point, without any solid feel that he was ever going to have a chance at the majors. That's strike 1 on Austin Barnes. I mean, you get released before you make your major league debut, chances are you're not going to have a shot. But 3 weeks later, Miami signed him to a minor league contract. And then when Edinson Volquez went on the DL with the knee tendonitis, they called O'Grady up for his big league debut last Friday. 1-2.
Yeah, you put doubt in your head, especially when you get released on opening day in a minor league game.
Right. Opening day at AA. How far did that feel from here? 2-2. Austin Barnes. It's a bouncing ball up the middle. Backhanded by Derek Dietrich. Off balance throw to get him.
Good at bat by Austin Barnes. You take it right back up the middle, but it looks like it kicks off the mound just a little bit toward the second base to give Dietrich enough time to get to that ball.
So from one former Marlin to another, from Barnes to Hernandez. Two guys who came over in the same deal. That's strike 1. So the D. Gordon trade a few years back. Hernandez had played in just a few games in a Marlins uniform after the Astros traded him here. 1-1. It's
amazing how certain players sometimes just either new environment or with a new team feel like they're getting a second chance. And maybe it clicks for them, or there's just a different feeling for them. And they end up, one is for O'Grady, make it to the big leagues, and the other one thrive in the big leagues like Kike.
Looking for a 1-2-3 second inning. Coming inside on 2-2, and Hernandez shatters his bat on a cue shot that goes foul. A lot of pieces flying around there. You had the bat going up the left field side, the ball in the opposite direction.
You had the bat going. You had his head going another direction. You got the bat going to third. Got the ball going to first. You got Kike's head looked like it was going to the left field stands, and get another chance.
With a new piece of lumber. A 2-2 again. That's high and away, and the count is full. Chris O'Grady to Kike Hernandez. He missed low, his first walk of the day, and the inning kept alive for Trayce Thompson. First at bat of the weekend for Thompson. Called back up late in the first half. Has had some good swings. The number's not necessarily there yet, but Dave Roberts likes the way Trayce Thompson's been swinging it. Big ol' lead at first for Hernandez. And a wide throw from O'Grady.
You know, we talk about from a hitter's standpoint, when you're facing a guy, a rookie, and O'Grady, that's not much of a book on him, and you haven't seen him. Well, when you get on base, you also haven't seen his move to first base either.
Thompson goes after the first pitch at strike one. Although in this day and age, at the higher levels of the minors, there's much better scouting data, more video than you used to have.
That is true. So, I mean, it seems like you can't go anywhere in the professional baseball. It even seems like now, even in college and some of these other levels where they still have video, or you can archive or find something on people.
No secrets anymore. And 0-1. Because didn't you think that lead Kike had, that looked like he knew something? That wasn't a normal lead for Kike Hernandez.
And it was. It could also, there was a couple of things. It could also have been a lead where I'm thinking about, now that I get here, I'm going to be able to take advantage of and try to go first move. Or if I take a one-sided lead, I want you to throw over so I can see your move.
1-2. Hernandez at first after the 2-out walk. O'Grady to Thompson with his 1-2 pitch after a toss over. Could also be one of those things as simple as the Dodgers AAA affiliate had faced off with the Marlins AAA affiliate, or the Angels at one point. Had the book on him. Thompson flips it to right. Stanton is there. And the side is retired. On to the bottom of the second on this Sunday afternoon in Miami. The Dodgers in front of the Marlins 1-0. for those 7 innings here last year, and Dave Roberts had that tough decision of taking him out, Alana Rizzo.
Well, he also said that he hopes he is faced with that tough decision again today, and he said, you know what, hopefully we'll have a laugh about it afterward. Rich Hill a lot more stretched out today than he was at this time on September 10th, and he said he also doesn't have the blister issue, so bring him that situation. He'd love to be presented with it.
And, you know, we talk about the big picture of being the right decision. Yes, but the fact that it was a perfect game. We're not talking about a no-hitter. Strike one on Marcell Ozuna. That's what made it particularly hard for everybody to stomach. There have been 252 no-hitters in baseball history. There have been 23 perfect games. Ozuna hits it foul, and it's 0-2. He was 6 outs away from going from having really no home as a pitcher, guy nobody wanted, to being one of the 24 people ever to throw a perfect game in the long history of this sport. That close. 1-2 on Ozuna.
But also think about, you're exactly right. It's unbelievable. And we're talking about how it was about the postseason. But let's just say, I mean, and obviously you can put them all the hypotheticals we want. And we're talking about if it flared up. He was there. They brought him over for the postseason, not being able to pitch in the postseason. But for him personally, what if it flared up, not be able to put postseason? Would he have been able to sign that deal back with the Dodgers and got that, the largest contract of his career?
You're totally right.
So I bet you in hindsight he's going, okay, if you gave me a choice, one or the other, I'll tell you what I'm picking. So, and he actually, the next day he had turned the page. He was over it. He was done. And that's really how Rich Hill faces life.
Ozuna with a base hit into the gap. Extra bases for Marcell Ozuna. A leadoff double here in the second.
This breaking ball right over the plate. Wasn't necessarily a bad breaking ball, but at the same time, Ozuna did a good job staying on that ball and driving it. Ozuna thrives here at his home ballpark. He's having a really good year in general, all around.
Tyler Moore. Nice curve, sharp for strike one. And even before you get to the big contract Hill was able to sign, he was effective in the postseason. Won Game 3 of the NLCS, 6 shutout innings against the Cubs. The Dodgers' last win of last year. That blister flares up again. Those starts probably don't happen. But again, the other side of that is it was a perfect game. A 1-1. Breaking ball, and that's all he's thrown Morrow so far. 1-2. It's a fun debate to have, and it's part of what makes this game great. There's so many little things and big things like that that can argue about with no true right answer. Ozuna at second to start the inning, and a 1-2 to Moore is a fastball high. Full count.
Well, when you look at Rich Hill's year so far, coming in 5-4 with a 3.69. We talk about first 9 starts, not going past the 5th inning, doing better his last 3. But overall, the entire season, he's held hitters to just a 145 batting average, runners in scoring position this year.
And that was the thing we talked about last inning. The front office came to him and said, hey, you're a whole lot better when there were people on. than when there's nobody on. And of course, that is the difference in pitching from the windup, which you traditionally do with nobody on base, and pitching from the stretch. It started to say he went into a start planning to go exclusively out of the stretch and did for one pitch to start the game. Didn't quite feel right. And so that's when he adjusted into the modified windup we see him using now. Modified windup, modified stretch. This obviously a traditional stretch for the runner at second. He strikes him out with a fastball. One gone.
And putting that 145 batting average runner to scoring position in perspective as he climbs the ladder with that fastball, you know, that's the 4th best mark in the major leagues this year. If you think about the starters that have better one, you have Matt Harvey, you have Gio Gonzalez, and another one is Alex Wood, who has a 125 average.
Alex Wood is the best pretty much no matter how you split it statistically this year. With one out, here's Derek Dietrich. Front door curve, strike one. First Dodger ever to start a season 11-0 with last night's victory. After the sweeping curve, he bullets a fastball for strike two. '88 doesn't look like a bullet if you don't have a pitch like his curve to make it look like one. Makes quick work of him.
I have a Volkswagen replay of that last curveball, and it was such a really good pitch to go. And what really set this one up to get that swing and miss were the 2 pitches before. Because when you throw that first sweeping curveball that you freeze the hitter on, and then you paint with that fastball, the hitter's thinking, now what do I look for? So he did a good job with that one that made it look like a strike and breaks out of the strike zone to get that swing and a miss.
A.J. Ellis taking ball one. Good to see A.J. this week for all of the Dodgers. He's still kind of the mayor. You watch him work the room with his former teammates and coaches and media members. That's at the knees, and it's 1-1. Hasn't had much of a role on this Marlins roster. They have started JT Realmuto a ton. Nine years with the Dodgers before the trade last August. Curve 1-2. Fan favorite, media member favorite, clubhouse favorite, best friend of Clayton Kershaw. Some emotional exchanges on the day that he found out he'd been dealt. Hill delivers a fastball right down the pipe, and he's got it working in conjunction with his curve like he does when he's at his best. The Coors Light Cold Hard Fact. 28-4 stretch. It's tied for the best 32-game stretch in franchise history. The only other group to do it, 1899. The Brooklyn Superbas went on to win 101 games that year. National League pennant twice in franchise history. 28-4. 1899, 2017. 9-1-2 for the Dodgers in this inning. Rich Hill climbs in, crouches down, takes ball one.
Rich Hill looked like he was surprised on that pitch, like he didn't know it was coming.
He's ahead 2-0. He has scared Chris O'Grady right out of the zone. Only one hit for the Dodgers. It was a Justin Turner home run. 2-1. Two and two. Never feel Mike's pick up his reaction. Oh, he's a beauty. 2-2. Fouled back.
We see Rich Hill going there. We see that swing. He's coming in with a 105 average, and he has 2 RBIs on the year.
Oh, 1 out.
Now you wouldn't think he had 2 RBIs when you look at his swing and his reaction.
We're not laughing at Rich.
No.
I mean, we are a little bit. It's just the being able to hear as well as you can here at Marlins Park, the way it's set up, the way it kind of echoes in here. You can hear his reactions to those swings and misses, kind of access we normally don't have live. Second time through the order, Logan Forsythe flied to the warning track his first time, and here takes ball one. One and one. It is kind of a unique environment just all around in this ballpark. Not just the way you can hear so well the stuff that happens around home plate, but the glass wall beyond the left field wall that shows you downtown, and of course the home run sculpture. 2-2 on Forsythe. The royal blue seats, it's unique. Don't see that in too many ballparks. Full count. And then the bright green trim, the bright green walls. A 1-out walk for Forsythe. There's also a real aquarium behind home plate. Bulletproof glass on it.
Well, when you're thinking about putting an aquarium into a stadium, I'm sure there was a lot of that. Where do you think we should put it? Why not behind home plate? Great call.
Well, I could answer that question for you. Why not behind home plate? The worst case scenario would be a really bad one. But they got good glass on it. Corey Seager takes ball one. One and one. They've already had to change the dimensions in here some. Change the dimensions, change the wall height. Because nothing was flying out of here. It was completely unfair for hitters. They dropped the wall down prior to last season. To the front door, but it missed. 2-1. Only spots they couldn't lower the fence is where they have the digital boards on the wall. So that used to be the height the entire way around that you see over the Greek moving and storage sign. Dropped it about 4 feet. On the edge, 2-2. Opened up in 2012. Of course, he used to play outdoors. It's a beautiful park. It's very unique, very Miami. Seager cracks a bouncer. That's through for a base hit. Dodgers at the corners with 1 out. And they are at the corners for Justin Turner, whose home run in the first inning started the scoring, and we watch it again on our Carl scan.
Well, Justin Turner has been so balanced this entire season. His timing has been perfect the entire year, it seems like, and getting that ball staying on it, his bat, even with that high leg kick, his bat actually gets through the zone and stays flat through the zone for an extended period of time. And we know he has power.
He hit it out towards part of the park that makes this place unique that we didn't even mention. They have a nightclub out there. Strike 1. The Clevelander, and I understand Pantone 294 finished off their night by heading out there.
Why wouldn't they?
After a Dodger win
yesterday, they were in full force.
Rumor has it they played California Love at the Clevelander last night. That was likely a request from somebody in blue. Alana?
In Dave Roberts' post-game press conference, he made it a point at the end of it to thank Pantone 294 for their support, not only yesterday, but throughout the season. Also coming off the field after the handshakes and high fives, every single Dodger tipped their cap to the section in which Pantone 294 was sitting with that amazing flag. This team has absolutely embraced the fan support and is incredibly appreciative of it every single place they've been on the road with us, guys.
And I think one of the defining moments of that relationship was with the man at the plate, Justin Turner, and everything that group did to help him get here for the All-Star game. A 1-1 from O'Grady, and Turner drives it the other way this time. Giancarlo Stanton's under it. Forsythe heads for the plate. Stanton's throws up the line. Turner's driven in another, and it's 2-0 here in the third.
This is the other thing that makes Justin Turner great is being able to handle the bat. He was looking for a ball up in the zone to be able to drive to get that worst case sacrifice fly. You know, he already has a home run, pulls the ball, home run earlier, first at bat. They're recognizing the situation, just looking for that ball up, something he could handle, and he able to do that to drive it deep enough to right.
With 2 outs, Cody Bellinger hits the first one foul. We were actually just talking about that on the bus ride over here today. Bat control, how underrated of a skill that is.
Yeah, to be able to, because then you're able to do things like that the game is telling you. The type of hitter you're supposed to be. If you're just one-dimensional, say I'm just going to take one type of swing each and every time, whether it's trying to just lift the ball and launch every single time. Big league pitchers will figure that out. Also, you just don't help your team or come through in situations like that when you maybe just need a sacrifice fly. We also talked about, over the course of this series, productive outs, moving the runner over. Little things. And speaking of little things, even on that fly ball, I think Corey Seager did an excellent job as I watched him get into scoring position on that throw home.
1-2. Bellinger pops it up to left. There is Ozuna to make a running catch. The Dodgers add one. Justin Turner's driven in both runs today. 2-0 to the bottom of the third. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica, the new benchmark of minivans, and by Jack in the Box. Come try the new sweeter spicy barbecue bacon cheeseburger and chicken sandwich. Limited time only. Dodgers up 2-0 to the bottom of the third inning, and Rich Hill delivers to JT Riddle, strike one. The shortstop, 25 years old, a rookie, was called up earlier this season for his debut after opening the year in AAA New Orleans. His parents had driven down from Kentucky to watch opening day at AAA, and they were headed back to Kentucky when JT called him and said, "Hey, keep on driving by Kentucky, head up to New York. I just got called up to the majors and I'm joining the Marlins to play the Mets." Breaking ball, and it's 1-2. I guess they never would have made it in time, though, to actually get there for his debut, and his dad does not like flying. So they instead decided to make a right turn and head down to Miami to be here for when the team got back to play his first home game as a big leaguer. Rich Hill makes quick work of him. That's 4 consecutive Ks for Hill. RBI Baseball 2017 is out now for Xbox One, PS4, iOS, and Android. Enjoy fast-paced pick-up-and-play MLB action packed with all your favorite MLB teams, players, ballparks, and much more. Learn more at RBIGame.com. O'Grady takes ball one low. Only one base runner for the Marlins thus far. Double from Ozuna to start the second. And then he proceeded to strike out 3 in a row, like he's done so many times this season with his back against the wall.
Yeah, it really looked like Rich Hill stepped it up a notch once he had a guy in scoring position.
Five consecutive strikeouts for Rich Hill and 2 gone in the third. Six total punch outs for the left-hander. Are you comfortable saying yet that he's rediscovered the form of the guy the Dodgers traded for last year?
I'm pretty comfortable saying that, just because you look at his last couple of outings and also just seeing him and listening to him. Because when you're seeing him on, he wears his emotions on the sleeve when he's out there. You see it. You see the competitive drive that he has. You see some of his reactions when he's frustrated. And over his last few outings, you haven't seen that as much, or it's really just been that determination, like, okay, here's the pitch I'm really going to make, that extra effort in that sense. Not where, gosh, I'm having trouble finding it, or mad at every single time he's missing it. And also when you hear him in his post-game interviews, and Rich Hill is obviously very honest and open and transparent, and will tell you, this is where I'm struggling, I looked awful, and he'll tell you when he's actually feeling pretty good.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and trying to strike out this side here in the third. It'll be 6 in a row and 7 total. Did he offer? No. So the count goes full on Prado. Breaking ball on the ground. There's Corey Seager. A 1-2-3 inning for Rich Hill, who keeps on rolling along. Turner Ward going to join Alana Rizzo live when we come back.
Pretty good at a pretty good clip as well. I want to ask you the same question. You have Justin Turner driving in both of those runs. Talk about the bat control you've seen with JT all season.
I mean, it's these guys. I mean, the quality of the ABs. They're trying to go out and have quality ABs every single day. And when you start having to do that, guys start doing that, good things happen. Even the base on ball right there with Logan to start that rally off right there, that last inning. And, that's what it's about, keeping the line moving. This is what the guys are doing.
And I know you don't have to work with Rich Hill that closely, but he's incredibly effective against that opposition. What is he doing well from a pitcher standpoint to keep their bats off balance?
He's got such a good curveball. And anytime you have to try to, separate the difference of that, his fastball is always live. And having to have that high fastball and the curveball coming off that same plane, it makes it difficult.
All right, your guys are hitting. I'll let you go watch.
All right, thanks, Alana.
All right, guys.
Thank you, Alana, and thank you, Yasiel, I guess, for starting that interview off. You'd been giving Turner a hard time the entire commercial break. Chris Taylor ahead in the count, 2-1.
It was not only Yasiel, you also had Justin Turner throwing sunflower seeds at them prior to that, having fun. Said that's when you can watch that and you say, okay, you know they're winning when they're doing that and having a good time.
Taylor drives the ball to deep right center field. Stanton's back on it, on the track, leaps up and watches it bang off the wall. Taylor has his second triple of the weekend. This one leads off the fourth. I didn't miss getting out of here by a ton, and that's the look that he has on his face.
Giancarlo looks like he lost his glove. That's what he was. As he went for that ball and jumped, he hit the wall and it knocked his glove right off of his hand.
So in that case, it's too bad he didn't catch it, because then it would have been a home run. Ball goes in the glove over the fence.
That's a good point. There's the effort. Just good job by Yelich being there, backing him up to get that. Because if he wasn't there, say with Chris Taylor's speed, he could have had a possible inside the park home run. This is rare. This is rare where you're going, if you're just tuning in, what's the delay for in the Dodger game? Oh, they have to retrieve Stanton's glove that went over the wall.
I wonder if they have some kind of code for that in the game day.
It's funny. I'm going, you know, looking back, I'm like, what's taking them so long to get somebody out there to just go get him his glove? And it doesn't look like they still retrieved it. It's going to be a while, so they had to bring him a new glove.
So the reason that there's kind of a black hole back there, backside of that wall, that black wall, that is the original outfield fence. We were talking about how they made the change in dimensions, lowering the fence. Well, they also brought it in right there. There is no easy access. And now you got a security guard who's out on the field. And
he was really in no hurry to get off the field.
No, we're ready to play.
Everybody's waiting, and they're like, come on, let's go.
He's back in the bullpen now. But anyways, yeah, I don't know if there's an easy way to get back there. Infield comes in with Taylor at third and nobody out. Austin Barnes, the batter, goes after the first pitch and cranks it foul.
So when they were making that wall, or when they were putting the fences in, you don't think they were saying, well, what if somebody loses their glove over the wall? How are we going to retrieve it? Yeah, wasn't really not the thing that was on their list. They're like, hey, first, how are we going to, you know, what materials are we going to use to push this wall? How's the wall going to look? What else are we going to do that? Yeah, not, hey, what if they lose a glove?
He obviously can't get there from the right side of that wall.
Right.
But I wonder what happens.
Go underneath from the center
like
field.
under the bushes.
Yeah.
A 1. Line to center. Austin Barnes with an RBI single. The Dodgers take a 3-0 lead, and still nobody out here in the fourth.
Well, you have the infield in. Your approach as a hitter is thinking, all right, I can get a ball up, maybe a sacrifice fly, but let me just get something and drive it right back up the middle. That's what your approach. You want to say you don't want to pull off the ball. You don't want to roll over, especially with the infield in. Austin Barnes, good approach, going back up the middle, base hit.
So up comes Kike Hernandez. Walked his first time. You would think for, you know, like fire regulation, safety precautions, there has to be some way to access that area. We may never know.
Maybe, you know, there's obviously great fishing here in Florida, so maybe they might have to bring out a fishing rod and try to see if they can catch a glove.
It's not a bad idea.
Good little game for the fans out there.
High strike, 0-2. Barnes at first, nobody out. Dodgers up 3-0, and O'Grady to Hernandez with the 0-2 pitch. Grounded foul. The Dodgers 28-4 in their last 32. As you see Vance Worley start to loosen. Trying to win 9 in a row. It'd be their second winning streak of that many games. Last time they had 2 winning streaks of 9 or better was 1955, the first World Championship year in franchise history. O'Grady pushes off 0-2 and misses with ball 1. It seems like every day at this point we're having to scour articles and links and different notes packets we get to check off and make sure that we've seen each historical nugget, because there's a pertinent one just about every day now with this group.
Austin Barnes is thinking about stealing second. This is a good time to try it. First move. A lot of times you think I was a base stealer. After the pitcher gives you one of his better moves to try to pick you off, you go back standing. They're thinking, okay, he's not thinking about stealing. You got that back there easy.
Hernandez out in front of a changeup for the first out of the inning. Third punch out for O'Grady, who now faces Trace Thompson. Line to right his first time. No batting practice today, rarely is on Sunday day games, but yesterday a really good round for Trace Thompson during BP. And Dave Roberts, Turner Ward, both working on little things within his swing, both encouraging him. Hard when you're not having every day at bats. The 0-1 lays off. It's 1-1. So guys like Thompson have to do everything they can to get as many looks as they can. He was one of the hitters in Hyun-Jin Ryu's sim game on Friday afternoon. Pops it up, 1-2. Grady out of George Mason University. He's a teammate there, the Marlins first baseman Justin Bohr. Here's 1-2. Got him looking. Well, back-to-back Ks and 2 away here in the 4th. Grady's older brother also played at George Mason. He was best friends with Bohr a few years older, so there's just 1 year of overlap between him and Chris. Didn't have a ton of offers coming out of high school, largely because he didn't play his senior year. Rich Hill takes strike 1. Here's his reaction to the pitch. Well, the reason O'Grady didn't start or didn't play when he was a senior, he was also the quarterback at his high school. And during his senior football season, so in the fall, blew out his knee, tore 3 ligaments. Hill grounds it to second. Dietrich's got it, and the Dodgers finished in the 4th. They add 1, triple from Taylor, single from Barnes, interview from Yasiel and Alana. Even before it got started, Yasiel making sure that Turner was plenty comfortable heading into the interview. Rich Hill so far with 6 strikeouts, and we take it slow-mo with Kona. That included a run of 5 consecutive Ks for the left-hander.
Getting the fastball over, getting the breaking ball, keeping them off balance, attacking the strike zone. Rich Hill so far has looked sharp, and for the most part has kept these hitters off balance for sure. One really good at bat, and that was a double, was Ozuna.
Here's Stanton. Fouls off a first pitch fastball. He was definitely guessing wrong his first time, watching that fastball glide down the middle. And then you mentioned it, while Rich Hill normally pitches with a curveball first, he's been a little bit fastball heavy lately, at least for him. Joss misses, 1-1. Curve, 1-2. Tried to finish him with a fastball again. Stanton smacked it foul. Late protective swing should lead you to believe he was again looking for a curve with 2 strikes. No swing, 2-2. Grounded to third. That's a fair ball. Stanton never left the box. He'll turn around and walk right back to the dugout before he even took a step towards first. Head to the Dodger game Wednesday, July 26th. Dodgers and Twins. First 40,000 fans in attendance get this Clayton Kershaw batting bobblehead, courtesy of Pirelli Tire. Go to Dodgers.com/promotions.
Clayton Kershaw hitting bobblehead.
Love it.
Speaking of hitting, really rare that seeing Stanton not get out of the box there. I know it looked like he slipped when he hit that. But even after you slip, you still, especially when you know it's fair, you at least get emotion going down the first base. Even if you're frustrated, you go do that. That's unlike him.
1-1 on Christian Yelich. Truthfully, it looks like a guy who's just had enough.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have a look here. You see he hits the ball. Yeah, he falls, sees it, but instead of just, I mean, at least take a few more steps. Just go out there until it actually, until it's actually caught. Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. I go, just go out there. I understand you slip. I understand you're frustrated. You just take one and just watch it. You don't wait till he fields it and then turn around. You actually just go, because in case he throws it away, you're going to get there.
Hills 2-1. 2-2 on Yelich. And when I say a guy who's had it off, I'm not talking just this year. I'm talking with a big picture of the 7 managers in 8 years that he's been in Miami. The promise that they were in it to win it, and he should sign that 13-year contract. Of course, the money was incredible, largest contract in sports history, but he didn't want to do it because of that. He wanted to do it because of a commitment to winning a championship, which they've kind of pulled the rug out on. A full count on Yelich, and here he is again staring at a team below 500, about to be sold and likely about to tear down again. You don't blame him for feeling like he's maybe had enough of that. Yelich waits on a breaking ball, a soft one into left. Taylor comes on, can't get it, and Yelich has a double.
Yelich gets this one off the end of the bat. Wasn't hit very well, just placed perfectly and just out of the reach of Taylor. As you see that tremendous effort by Taylor out there in left field. I'll tell you, for Yelich, he's coming in over his last 15 games. He has 8 multi-hit games where he was batting .365, but just also against the Dodgers. His last 7 games against the Dodgers, he's batting over 500, .538. As a matter of fact, coming into today, he was 4 for 8 in the first 2 games.
Ball on Ozuna. And he's definitely been the best Marlins hitter in this series, at least as far as the results. Although it doesn't feel like he's had quite a few bloop hits, soft hits in this series.
Seems like he maybe had 1 or 2, but he has had some better at bats than we've seen throughout this entire lineup, staying on the ball.
1-1.
Yelich, he is a really good hitter. And if you even look at just some of his numbers over the years, how they've kind of changed. One year would look really good, kind of going down, but it also shows that his maturity as well. He's made adjustments over the course of his big league career. He's learned an awful lot. And you talked about, if this Marlin team is thinking about being sellers, how there'd be a lot of people interested in Yelich.
There's a report that the Phillies reached out to the Marlins about doing a Yelich deal. You don't look at the Phillies as a buyer at this point. They're the worst team in the National League, but a lot of controllable years. And if in fact the Marlins do want to completely tear it down, the Phillies wanted to at least go down that road and see if there might be some kind of interest. A 2-1. Ozuna lifts one to the opposite field. Back on it goes Kike Hernandez for out number 2. His throw to third makes it at least interesting, but Yelich is in there safely.
We talk about this Marlins club, and you're talking about that frustration when we're Stanton. They have a lot of really good young players, and it just, for some reason, hasn't really clicked the way they anticipated it would. We're talking about from young arms in the staff, the bullpen, to young talent as position players.
Tyler Moore. Strike one. That's how Hill got him his first time with a high fastball. Trying to once again pitch out of a bit of a jam. They had a runner at second with one out. They had a runner at second with nobody out a couple of innings ago, and Hill had 3 consecutive Ks to get out of that situation. Quickly 0-2. Marlins right now are 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position today. That is more the same for Rich Hill, who's been at his best in these situations this year. Strike one on a fastball, strike two on a curve, ball one on a fastball. Right down the middle to get him looking. Rich Hill, 7 strikeouts over 4 shutout innings. On to the 5th. Southern California Toyota dealers. Get the Toyota truck of your dreams at Toyota's Summer Drive Sales Event. All right, can you tell who this is?
I called it.
I did right away, too. I'm sure many of you at home can tell as well. That guy, Corey Seager, started playing baseball when he was 3 years old, even though in his town you weren't technically allowed to until you're 4. But his parents snuck him onto his older brother Justin's team. Looked like that was a year or 2 after that in that picture. Top of the order, Logan Forsythe, the lead it off against Chris O'Grady, and he takes strike one. Said Corey always had his cleats on as a kid, and there's a great story that we've told a couple of times, but they say he cried for days when he started kindergarten and he found out that he couldn't wear those cleats to school. They wouldn't let him go into kindergarten wearing his baseball spikes. He just could not take it. A 1-1 pitch. On the hands for ball 2.
They didn't find him another school. Say,
I know, right?
Find him can you let him wear his cleats, please?
Do you know who this is?
No. Right.
No. Forsythe hits a high fly ball to left center field. Yelich back on it, running out of room at the wall, makes a leaping catch. Second time today Forsythe has hit a drive that can't quite get out of here. Nice play by Yelich for the first out of the 5th.
Yelich did an excellent job. Not only did you see that quick peek to see where the wall was, but to find the wall, getting there early so he can make this catch. Had the handout for kids at home. That was textbook on how to play a wall. Follow the ball, take a peek where you are on the field, reaching out. Once he found that ball again, he made a nice catch.
0-1 on Seager. That's again why it was so odd to see him scramble at the last moment for a routine fly ball off of the bat of Corey Seager. And the first inning he offered there. 0-2. It's his first year playing center. He's a left fielder prior to this year. They switched him and Ozuna. Actually grew up an infielder. Seager chases a high fastball for out number 2. Even when he was playing infield at Westlake, Southern California, he would stay after practices, take balls off of the machine, fly balls, because he knew that outfield was his likely best ticket to the majors.
Well, I think it's always smart to learn how to play every single position when you're young. One, because you just never know if you aspire to play baseball at the next level. But two, it also teaches you the game. It also teaches you that when you always hear about baseball instincts, guys learn, but you learn where every single person has to be on the field when balls are put in play. And for me, when growing up learning it, it also showed me how valuable every single guy is out there and how you need everybody to go out there and win games.
A 1-1 to Turner. Low and away for ball 2. That gives you a different perspective, right?
It definitely does.
Gives you empathy. A little bit out. 3-1. Turner, former second baseman. Now one of the game's best at third. See if he gets one to drive. Yanked to third off of the glove of Prado, and Turner's aboard to keep this 5th inning going.
One thing you don't see too often is Prado missing that ball. Usually when it hits his glove, he usually stays in there, but this ball was hit so hard off of Justin Turner's bat. That's one thing you do see often is Justin Turner squaring the ball up.
How do you rule that?
I would give it a hit because he had to leap for it too.
Yep, and that is what they've done. So Turner's second hit of the day, 2 hits, 2 RBIs. Now Juan Nieves, the pitching coach, comes out along with A.J. Ellis. Cody Bellinger ready to bat. Final game between these teams this year. Dodgers will continue the road trip. Off day in Chicago tomorrow, and then 2 at the White Sox. Kind of a weird trip. 3 in Miami. Off day. 2 at the White Sox. Clayton Kershaw against Miguel Gonzalez Tuesday night. That is 5:10 Los Angeles time as we look at our Dodger calendar, brought to you by 76. And then in the finale on Wednesday, Kenta Maeda, Carlos Rodon. Homestand begins on Thursday. 4-game series with the Braves. 0-1 on Bellinger. One and one. Two and one. Leading the division right now for the Dodgers, 9.5 games. Rockies crushing the Mets 9-0. It's in the bottom of the 4th in New York. But Arizona getting routed by Atlanta. Bellinger gets under it, and it's 2-2. 6-0 Braves, bottom 3. Arizona in danger of losing its 5th in a row, and that lead would grow to 10.5 if both scores held up. Seems like just yesterday the Dodgers were bunched up with those two teams and even chasing those two teams in the division. Much of the first few months of the year, it was Colorado out in front. Runner at first with 2 gone, and a 2-2 to Cody Bellinger. Ball 3.
After showing that graphic, Dodger fans, there were 2 things that they just love seeing.
At the very top of it and the very bottom. Giants 35-57. On pace right now for the worst season in franchise history. Bellinger chases strike 3. And the inning is over. We are halfway home in Miami. The Dodgers in front 3-0. Sunday morning turning into Sunday afternoon out on the West Coast. Joe and Nomar, and of course Solana down in the field, and the Dodgers with a chance here to sweep yet another series.
And right now they're going out there, and you can just see the confidence once again that the Dodgers are exuding at the plate. They've been able to manufacture runs, which is a good sign, but also Rich Hill, speaking of that confidence, Rich Hill on the mound today, only giving up 2 hits so far has 7 strikeouts. And look about his last 2 outings, and we talked about it. The last 2 outings where he pitched 14 innings combined and had 20 strikeouts over those last 2 outings.
Started off Derek Dietrich with a couple of fastballs, 1-1. If you extend it back even a little bit farther, last 5 starts now, Hill 42 strikeouts, 6 walks. A little bit up, 2-1. And this was after, over his first 8 starts of the season, he had the highest walk rate in the National League. Downhill 2-1. Strike 2. Former Long Island Duck, Rich Hill. Walking down the tunnel for his first game in Long Island in independent ball, somebody pointed to a bucket and said, "There's your bathroom." He felt like a long way from the major leagues. His payoff. Got him swinging. Strikeout number 8 for Rich Hill, and one away here in the 5th.
Well, he got Dietrich on a breaking ball his last at bat, but that was one that started in the strike zone and then broke away and got him swinging after freezing him on 2 pitches before. That one was a breaking ball that broke into the strike zone to get him to swing and miss.
Struck out A.J. Ellis with a fastball, looking his first time up there, and gets strike 1. Sure has been fun to watch the leg whip and the grunt comeback for Rich Hill. Some of that aesthetic stuff that made him so fun to watch in his couple months with the team last year.
And Rich Hill is one of those, you see the radar gun in his fastball, you see 89, you see 90. He's one of those guys where when you're facing him as a hitter, you look up and you peek up, how fast was that fastball? 89, 90, and it looks so much harder than that with what the gun and what the radar is registering. Just seems like that ball has more life to it, or it gets on you quicker. And there are certain guys that have that it ends up being on you, where you're looking up it's 91 and it feels like 96, 97.
Ellis pulls one down the line, a base hit that will roll its way to the wall. The old Dodger, A.J. Ellis, with a 1-out double. How much of that is the fact that you've got to be ready for his slow sweeping curve? How much of that contributes to the fastball looking harder?
It definitely does contribute somewhat. But even there are times where you're thinking against guys like that, I'm looking for his fastball. I'm going to sit down on his fastball. I know he has a curve, but I'm maybe early in the count, I'm looking fastball. And then all of a sudden he sneaks one by you. And all of a sudden you're just like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm just looking for that. How did that get on here? Gosh, that seems so much harder. And on the flip side, there are guys that the radar gun looks like it's 96, 97. You're going, man, I see that really well. Or it doesn't seem like it's coming that hard. So sometimes it's deception. Sometimes, now as they break down more and more and they're able to register, people talk about the spin rate and how now they're even measuring how long, even some of the velocity goes down as it's reaching home plate.
JT Riddle with a man at second and 1 out takes a strike.
And they can recognize a certain pitcher's ball doesn't really go down in velocity all the way to it hits the catcher's mitts, and others actually does lose velocity on its way in. So it's pretty amazing now what they're able to register.
We talked about it with Dan Straley, the Marlins pitcher in the opener of this series. His perceived velocity much higher because of one of the things you talked about, deception. Riddle pounds a base hit to right. They'll hold Ellis at third, and the Marlins are at the corners with 1 out.
This is one of the curveballs that, Rich Hill likes throwing the ball as far as breaking ball. He's not afraid to throw the breaking ball up in the zone, where everyone always says, oh, you don't throw your curveball, you don't hang your curveball. Well, he'll actually look at times for a curveball up in the zone to get that high strike with his breaking ball. This isn't one of those times. He was actually looking for that ball down, breaking ball down, and this one stayed up on him, and Riddle was able to get that.
Had a chance to see Ichiro in all 3 games in this series. He pinch hits for O'Grady and takes ball 1. These 2 guys were teammates for a short period of time for the Yankees in 2014. Hill out of the bullpen there. Ichiro is one of the Yanks outfielders. That's on the corner, and it's 1-1. The all-time greats. Ichiro now 43 years old, turned 44 in October. 3,054 hits. Ahead of Phil 2-1. '17 major league seasons. After 9 years professionally in Japan. Generous corner, 2-2. Ichiro said when he got here, he had the main goal of just trying to last his entire 3-year deal. And then in his very first game, made a great defensive play coming off of the field. Lou Piniella, who is his manager, gave him a big kiss. And he thought to himself, 3 years is too long if I'm going to get kissed every day. Off of Hill, and the Marlins have their first run. Ellison to score, and an infield single from Ichiro. It's a 3-1 game. Now Miami has the tying run aboard.
You see Rich Hill, we've seen his when you see his follow through, how he kicks the leg sometimes off balance, and then when the ball comes back and hits you, you're really off balance. That was also one of the balls, the way they were playing Ichiro, that if it happened to get by Rich Hill, like one of the middle infielders is going to be able to get to that ball possibly and at least get an out. Very difficult to double up Ichiro, at least get one. And now Rich Hill's going to try to get a double play with Prado at the plate.
And he's twice induced ground balls against Prado, who's really struggled lately. 3 for his last 29, dating back to the final week before the break. Strike one. This is actually another guy that Hill was teammates with in New York in 2014. Prado, Ichiro, Hill were all together in that group. Two on with one out. 0-1. Strike two. Barnes taps the ground. It was a bluff. He went with a fastball up to strike him out. His 9th already.
Right where Austin Barnes wanted it. Up in the zone with that fastball. Prado's last at bat, he also had him looking off balance and fooled. He had a ground ball shortstop. And when he was behind in the count, he got fooled on a curveball, and it was almost just a safety swing, and he made contact with.
You hold your breath here. Giancarlo Stanton is 0 for 2 and is 1 for 8 in this series. So you can't help but feel like he's due. 26 home runs, tied with Cody Bellinger and Joey Votto for the National League lead. Fouls back the first one. Had the same thing going on against Arizona a couple weeks ago, where it seemed like Paul Goldschmidt was ready to hit a 500-foot home run at any moment, and you just hope that was after the series. Get the same feeling with Stanton. Can hit it as far as he wants tomorrow. 2 on, 2 out. 0-1. Ball one. Somewhat quietly, Rich Hill's pitch count has climbed above 90. One and two. Good chance this is the final batter that Rich Hill faces, if he's able to get him. The 1-2 protects it. Josh Fields ready to go.
That was a good pitch by Rich Hill. He hit that top part of the zone exactly where Austin Barnes wanted it. Stanton does a good job fighting that one off. Look where Austin wanted it. Top of the zone. Oh.
Another 1-2 pitch. Curveball grounded to the hole in the left side. Turner cuts it off, and Rich Hill 5 more solid innings. The Marlins get one, but only one. On to the 6th.
With that fastball, and he misses. But this curveball, he was trying to get out over the plate, down the middle of the plate. But then that fastball, this is a good fighting off by Giancarlo Stanton. But this was the big pitch of the at-bat. Was able to get that curveball down and in on Stanton in order to get him to roll over.
And that handshake signals the end of the day officially. 5 more solid innings, so that's 5 strong starts in a row for Rich Hill. It was discovered his 2016 form. Top of the order for the 5, 6, and 7 for the Dodgers, with Chris Taylor popping the first pitch that he sees from Nick Whitgren into foul territory. That's caught by Tyler Moore. Who's in, who's out, brought to you by In-N-Out. Chris O'Grady's day is finished, and Whitgren comes on for the 2nd time in as many days. Gave up a run yesterday in his 1 inning of work. Austin Barnes brought in the latest Dodger run, singling home Taylor after he triple dope in the 4th. Austin was drafted by the Marlins. Bouncing ball to the hole at short. Long throw from Riddle and a strong arm to get him. Whitgren gets 2 quick outs, and Kike Hernandez comes up. Ball 1. Houston trailing again, by the way, down 2-1 against the Twins. Dodgers by a game and a half. Best record in baseball over the Houston Astros. Two and one. High fly ball to deep left field. Ozuna's back on it. Out of room. Up to make the catch. Marcell Ozuna robs Kike Hernandez of a home run. The second time today we've seen a Marlins outfielder climb the wall to take one away from the Dodgers.
You hit it, you think you got it, and somebody just says, no way. And a great feeling for him as an outfielder, making an unbelievable play. Get a good at bat, you put a good swing on it, you're thinking, I think I have enough, I hit it really well. You know when those usually carry out for you, and then you see an outfielder. This wasn't just jump and barely get it over the wall. That was clearing the wall by a good margin. And then when your starting pitcher can't believe it and said, I thought that was a homer. Ah, what a great play by Ozuna.
So now up to the bullpen. Josh Fields is on to face the heart of the order. Yelich, Ozuna, Moore coming up here. Starts him off with a breaking pitch, strike one.
I'll tell you, I think this is a big inning for Fields. I mean, right now, when you look at the way this game, yeah, the Dodgers look like they're really in control. There's up 3-0. Rich Hill was looking pretty good, but the Marlins getting that one run in that last inning.
Off the end of the bat, Seager backhands across his body for a big first out.
It was a nice play, but what I was saying is, okay, the Marlins get the little bit back. They get one, they make it within two. And at the same time, all of a sudden you get a great catch like that. So they are, you know, their confidence in you trying to get that momentum shifted back on their side. So here for Fields, it's big to come out here, try to shut them down. And it's great when you have great defense like that to help you out as well. Nice play by Seager.
Fields pitched a scoreless inning in the first game of this series, and we'll try to do the same here in the sixth. But the Dodgers in front 3-1, looking for their 11th sweep of the year. But after robbing the home run, Ozuna climbs in. Anything to the idea of momentum after making a nice defensive play and then coming up to the plate?
Yes, there is. There's just that feeling. I mean, I always say it's about confidence when you step in the box. It's about confidence when you're on the hill as a pitcher. Everybody talks about that. Well, all of a sudden you make that good play, you're feeling pretty good about yourself. And so there's that confidence when you start stepping up into the batter's box, and you're like, man, whoo, did you see that play? Yeah, I'm feeling really good. Now all I need is a hit now too.
Ozuna has one today. It was a double.
And I'll tell you, if you're Kike Hernandez, you're going, I hope he hits the ball to me.
Maybe even a foot above the wall.
Watch this play. Kike's still sure thinking about it right there, his head down. Watch my range when if you hit it near me.
Ozuna doesn't go the other way a whole lot. 1-2. Six-year-old out of the Dominican Republic, now in his 5th big league year, an all-star for the 2nd year in a row. Part of one of the best outfields in baseball with Yelich and Stanton left to right. Fields with a beautiful pitch to get him swinging. 2 gone. All new Backstage Dodgers on Thursday, and you can follow the 6 Dodger All-Stars in their trip here to the Midsummer Classic. Kenley Jansen takes over the backstage camera. Shows off some of his handiwork with it. Don't miss it. Backstage Dodgers from Hankook Tire on Thursday after the post game. Josh Fields is such a key piece to this bullpen the first couple of months, and then struggled in June, and trying to recapture what made him such a valuable piece early on. Tyler Moore swings and misses at a fastball, strike 1. Biggest issue for Fields in June was the long ball. Gave up 5 home runs in 6 outings. 1-1. 4 games in July, though. He's kept it in the yard. Is 1-1 to Tyler Moore. Strike 2.
That was a nasty pitch by Josh Fields, just coming out of his hand. You can see it just looked like a fastball. Started on that fastball plane right there. Oh, and then just a late break in the bottom. Falls right out of it.
That's what he got Marcell Ozuna on. Got strike 1 on a fastball, strike 2 on a curve. He goes back to the fastball, and Moore watches it zing by. Josh Fields 1-2-3 through the heart of the Marlins lineup. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by Carl's Jr., the baby back rib burger, only at Carl's Jr. All right, who's this?
My guess was maybe Jock.
You got it. Jock Peterson, who was sent to pinch hit to lead off the top of the 7th inning, and once he was introduced, Don Mattingly is going to take Whitgren out of the game and go back into the bullpen. We'll take another break. Seventh inning for the Marlins. Second night in a row they've used him. Gave up a hit and a walk last night, but was able to get out of it with no runs. And he's called upon after Jock Peterson is introduced as the pinch hitter for Trace Thompson. So Don Mattingly bringing on the lefty for the lefty.
Well, for Garcia, he actually allowed 2 home runs against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium on May 20th. But since that, he's only allowed 1 home run since, and that's over a course of 25 games. You saw at the bottom there of his stats, limiting batters to a 188 batting average.
Seager and Bellinger were the guys that took him deep. So both left-handed hitters, like the man climbing in here, who's been as hot as anybody since coming off the DL. Getting well above 300 in his month plus. Since returning, he takes ball 1. Pair of 2-hit games in this series so far. One and one. Doesn't this one just kind of have the feel of one where might be wise to add a run or 2?
Yes, it was kind of goes back to what we were talking about that last inning, how I felt it was important for Josh Fields to get out of that inning, try to take some momentum away from the Marlins. But at the same time, you look at that, okay, 3-1. Dodger fans are used to feeling confident there that, okay, that the Dodgers will win this game, but it is taking on one of those feels where you just, listen, it's always nice to get those insurance runs.
And again, it's a good lineup Miami has. Garcia to Peterson. 1-2. Off the end of the bat to short left. Ozuna. Peterson the first out. Yasiel Puig will pinch hit here with 1 out. The base is empty in the 7th. And of course, yesterday, the very first pitch that he saw from Jose Urena tailed in near his hip, and he took a couple of steps towards Urena. Not liking that. Looks like he's going to face somebody else. Don Mattingly comes back out. Dave Roberts said after the game he thought that Puig overreacted, that there was nothing truly intentional about it other than trying to make him feel uncomfortable one day after he had hit 2 home runs. Make a change? We'll detail it for you on the other side of this break.
When the Dodgers take on the Braves at 6:10 and catch a Dodger Vision showing of 42, a true story of an American legend, courtesy of Fandango. Visit Dodgers.com/movies.
Instead of the lefty, Harleen Garcia, Kyle Bearclaw comes on to pitch. He's been good for the Marlins this season. That said, it is odd that Don Mattingly decides to do this. Look at Yasiel Puig's splits this year. 120 points better against right-handers. 17 of his 18 home runs against right-handers. Yet instead of leaving the lefty on, goes out of his way to bring the righty in. And he delivers a fastball right by the knuckles.
And then what happened yesterday, which Ureña coming in, and I didn't think there was any intent on Ureña's pitch, and I don't think there was intent on this one either. This one had just slipped out of Bearclaw's hand.
This is last night. We're talking about this going into the break as well.
Yeah.
Two-seam fastball. That's how that pitch moves.
And even Dave Roberts was asked about it after the game, and he felt Yasiel Puig may have overreacted on that. And I think Yasiel, even after that, I think realized it too, because there was other pitches that came in on him and there was no reaction from Yasiel. You know, Yasiel as a hitter feels, listen, you're going to try to hit me because I hit 2 home runs the day before, had 2 big home runs. And then for Ureña, you're like, I don't want Yasiel to extend his arms. And that's where he misses.
On the ground to third, Prado's got it. Puig the second out. Let's go down to Alana.
Just to add on to the conversation about what you were saying about Yasiel and his reverse splits, the reason he didn't get the start today is because obviously he hasn't been hitting left-handed pitching as well. And Dave Roberts said, you know, he's always hit lefties. He's just not seeing it well right now when the ball comes in on him. That's one of the reasons he didn't get the start. Another reason is he just wanted to get Kike and Trace in that lineup, trying to get every single person to start. That was his goal for this weekend. He accomplished it with the exception of Chase Utley.
And it's especially nice for those starters that got the break today out of the lineup with the off day coming tomorrow. Back-to-back days off. Ball one on Logan Forsythe. Almost like a little weekend within a baseball season. That doesn't happen often.
And wanting to get those guys in, especially after the All-Star break, trying to keep them sharp was his motivation.
It's been a weekend full of tough luck for Logan Forsythe. He's 1 for 9 but that has not been for a lack of hard hit balls. Today alone, 2 flyouts to deep center field, 1 onto the warning track, 1 Christian Yelich leaped up at the wall to catch it. Nobody stopping that one. Base hit to right.
And another good at bat by Logan Forsythe. You know, one thing that Dave Roberts has done an excellent job, even with regards to Logan Forsythe, is really just looking at, and he's talked about it, the quality of at-bats and looking at the type of at-bats. Early on, Logan Forsythe, he struggled. He knew that, but there were still signs of good at-bats every once in a while within those struggles. And then since he's come off the DL, the quality has gotten so much better. And even just look at the series. The numbers don't relate to the quality of at-bats he's had so far this series.
With 2 outs at Seager. And even before the injury, the on-base percentage was still in a pretty good range. Even before he got going after the injury, the on-base percentage was at a career best mark. It's because of a walk rate that is double his previous mark. Big lead, not running, 1-1.
And as a hitter, for Logan, you constantly battle with yourself mentally. You say, listen, I know the results aren't there, but have to feel that I'm giving quality at bats, that eventually it'll turn around for you. And you keep telling yourself, keep going with those quality at bats. Keep, you know, even though you're going, I'm not getting any hits, you're going, why are you going to stay with the same approach? But you recognize, while I'm squaring the ball up, I'm getting my walks.
Two and two. Forsythe at first with 2 gone. Bear claw to Seager with a 2-2. Outside. Good take from Seager to run the count full.
Because it's a ball, it's a good take by Seager. But for a pitcher, that's a good pitch for a pitcher, hitting his spot, trying to see if he would chase just off the corner. It's really tough to lay off that pitch as a hitter.
So good Forsythe a head start. There he goes. Here it comes. There's ball 4. And Justin Turner is going to have an opportunity to give the Dodgers some of that insurance we were talking about. Top tier play of the game goes way back to the first when Turner opened the day with a home run.
Yeah, we've seen later on Ozuna climb the wall and rob one. Well, he wasn't going to rob that one.
11th of the year for Turner, his 10th since coming off of the DL. Added an RBI and a sacrifice fly and a single. Pretty much a perfect day for Turner so far. The average at 376. The on-base percentage 468. Both those marks lead baseball by a pretty wide margin. 2 on and 2 out. First one to Justin Turner. Strike 1. Tried to ambush him. Another and 2. which is no big deal for this guy. Best 2-strike hitter in baseball. One of only a handful of players across the majors with more walks than strikeouts on the season. With Forsythe at second and Seager at first, here comes an 0-2. Inside, ball one.
That was the exact same pitch he threw to Seager.
Now the 1-2. Ball two. In the dirt, and after falling behind 0-2, he's worked it full, and again the runners will take off on the next pitch. If he can reach Bellinger with bat. Dodgers trying to widen this lead at 3-1 in the 7th inning, looking for a 9th consecutive win. A 29th out of their last 33. The only other time in franchise history they've gone 28-4 over a 32-game run. 1899. They take off on a payoff, and Turner walks. He is something, man. Falls behind 0-2, then hardly flinches in earning the walk and loading the bases for Bellinger. Bellinger 0 for 3 in this one. Couple of strikeouts. Was really frustrated with himself his last time up when on a full count pitch he chased one out of the zone. A chance to break it open. Bases loaded for Bellinger. The first one. Down low, ball one. Home Run Derby Monday, All-Star Game Tuesday, birthday on Thursday, cycle on Saturday. Could it be Grand Slam Sunday? 1-1. Does have one, because if there's something cool you can accomplish as a baseball player, chances are he has in the first 72 games of his pro life.
That was earlier when he got called up.
Yeah, first couple weeks down in San Diego. Here comes a 1-1. Bellinger takes it high. 2 balls and a strike. He also in this situation has a game-winning walk against Kansas City last Saturday. Forsythe at third, Seager at second, Turner at first. And Bearclaw to Bellinger with a 2-1. After a toss to second, gets Seager to finish the inning. Bearclaw picks Seager off. They take a quick look at the video and then say, yep, they got him. The Dodgers miss an opportunity here. So Bellinger will instead lead off the 8th in a 3-1 game. this inning. The Marlins within 2 still, thanks to the pickoff to finish the top of the inning.
And this is a design pickoff that actually signaled from the catcher. Watch A.J. Ellis as the pitcher's just keyed on him. So they design already that who's going to be covering. A.J. sees the break, so he's the one who sees the middle infielder break and then lets the pitcher know when to spin around and pick off.
So when is that signal that they're going to?
It's before that, whether it's coming from the catcher and you use an infielder recognizing, or the infielder lets you know on the type of pickoff that you want to have over there.
Luis Avilan on to face Derek Dietrich, and he delivers strike 1. Jock Peterson, after pinch hitting for Trace Thompson, is in center. Quickly 0-2.
So as far as the Marlins are concerned, nice pickoff. And then as far as Dodgers are concerned, we're talking about how important those insurance runs are. And that was a big mistake by Corey Seager. Can't get picked off in that situation. Now it's up to Avilan to continue these innings of getting these batters out that we talked about. Josh Fields did an excellent job coming in and closing the door in that 6th.
It's twice that the Marlins have finished the top of the inning with some momentum. Marcell Ozuna robbing a home run to finish the 6th. Corey Seager getting picked off to finish the 7th with the bases loaded. Fields was able to work 1, 2, 3 to answer last time. Let's see if Avilan can do the same here. Is 1-2. Gets Dietrich swinging on a changeup. That is Avilan's best pitch. He'll throw it to both sides of the plate. Uses it here for out number 1.
Really good late movement on that changeup by Avilan. Dietrich's probably shaking his head. So you think back to his first strikeout against Rich Hill. There was a late breaking ball. At start looked like a fastball or a strike and then broke out of the zone. Same thing with that pitch.
Ellis has a double today, and here he takes ball 1. Mm-hmm. 2-0.
Avilan wondering where that pitch was, as home plate umpire Mark Carlson lets him know with his head that it was just a little bit outside.
So Barnes flinched before throwing it back. 2 not here, and strike called. That one gets it. 2-1. Three balls and a strike on Ellis, who still makes his offseason home in Milwaukee. Enjoying his time here in Miami, although his home, baseball home, will always be Los Angeles and Dodger Stadium. Some comfortability here with the Marlins because pretty much the entire staff, his former staff in LA. Full count. This has not been a real fun ride for anybody involved. Of course, the heavy hearts coming into the year, remembering Jose Fernandez, and a rough start, and then the sale of the team, which is going on right now, kind of muddling the whole picture.
A.J. Ellis frustrated with himself because he knew he swung at a ball. You know, A.J. Ellis does such a good job working at bats, getting deep into the count and working walks.
One gone in the 7th. Here's Avilan to Ellis with a payoff. Hit to right. Hernandez was shallow. Long way to go, and it's over his head and over the wall. Second double of the day for A.J. Ellis.
So far, it's exactly how the Marlins got their run in this game in that 5th inning, where it started off with a Dietrich strikeout, and then next at bat, a double by A.J. Ellis. He was frustrated with himself on the pitch before, thinking he swung at ball 4, and then makes up for it by getting this fastball and driving it to right field for a double.
So trying to do as good of a poker face as he can with his good buddy Justin Turner giving him a hard time. Now Corey Seager will do the same. Possible to find a guy in that Dodger clubhouse that doesn't love and admire A.J. Ellis. J.T. Riddle representing the tying run here in the 7th inning. Strike 1. Only a rookie, but already some big moments. His first career home run was a walk-off. He has 3 total. Another than 2. One and 2. A nice stop by Barnes.
On that late breaking changeup of Avilan, Barnes showing off the athleticism, doing a good job getting in front of that.
Ellis is second with 1 out. 2-run game in the 7th. Avilan delivers 1-2 and misses low and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pedro Baez getting ready. And with the pitcher's spot due next, they have JT Realmuto ready to pinch hit. Normally their starting catcher, hitting above 300 on the year, and has been a Dodger killer in his career. The 2-2. Strong hands to lay off it. Full count.
Yeah, he definitely held up on that one.
After Avilan had gotten ahead, Riddle's worked it back to a full count. Turns on it, hits it foul. Former Kentucky Wildcat, JT Riddle. Has a hit in 10 of his last 11 games. He can play free now, knowing that he's the everyday shortstop. They've shipped out the guy that he replaced in Adeiny Echeverria. It was an injury for Echeverria that led to his call-up. No more looking over his shoulder because Echeverria is now a Tampa Bay Ray. Here comes another 3-2 from Avilan. Off of the hands. Bellinger makes the catch on the fly and a double play to finish the inning. He does it all for this team. Best case scenario for Luis Avilan in that situation, and it stays at 3-1 to the 8th. by T-Mobile, and before the game today, this morning, this trade was announced. Nationals have, by some measures, the worst bullpen in baseball, and they take a big step in addressing that with this trade. Madsen and Doolittle, who have split the ninth inning duties for the A's over the last year or so, both go to Washington. They trade away Blake Trinan, who opened the season as the closer in Washington but has struggled, and a pair of prospects. So a nice trade pulled off by Washington to address their one glaring weakness. David Phelps in out of the Marlins pen.
And I think we're gonna start seeing that as it's coming here down the stretch. We know that trade deadline is creeping up at the end of this month, so we start seeing some more changes as David Phelps tries to keep this at just a 2-run lead for the Dodgers.
Bellinger, who was up there with the bases loaded when Seager was picked off, takes ball one. Third cycle in LA Dodger history. The 10th cycle in Dodger history overall when you include the 7 that were pulled off in Brooklyn. Phelps delivers 1-1 to him. 1-2. Very first cycle back in 1890 for the Brooklyn Bridegrooms. Tom P. Burns was the guy's name. Went by Oyster though. Oyster Burns. 2-2. Nicknamed him that because his offseason job was selling shellfish. Very unlike Bellinger though. He's tiny, 5'7". A 2-2. Runs the count full. They said that he had really irritating personality and especially irritating voice. There's an article in one of the New York papers about Oyster Burns. Called him the noisiest man that ever played for Brooklyn, with a voice like a buzzsaw. Doesn't sound like a guy I want to hang out with.
What, you don't like oysters?
I actually don't. No, or voices that sound like buzzsaws.
Okay. I'd be going, wow, shellfish. I'd be like, yes, hey, buzzsaw, I don't care. Come on over. Bring some oysters. I'll bring the champagne. We'll be good. Go out there. And
I think buzzsaw would have been a better nickname for him. Buzzsaw Burns. Oyster Burns, Cody Bellinger, one end of the spectrum to the other in the Dodgers cycle history. It's a leadoff walk here in the 8th.
Well, we talked about it last inning about the Dodgers trying to get some insurance run just by the feeling of this game. And you look at it, you got a 3-1 ball game, obviously, them taking the lead early. But when you look at this Marlins, we talk about this lineup, and really the heart of it coming up in this next inning, you got guys like Stanton, Yelich, Ozuna, and they still have Bohr, who's another one that they could, who's off the bench. Didn't start this game or if they needed in a situation. So they're like a walk and a long ball away from tying it.
Ball one on Chris Taylor and Real Muto, who we saw in the on-deck circle. Brandon Morrow getting ready.
That's why we talk about those insurance runs. Sure would help the Dodgers.
Kenley Jansen didn't pitch yesterday. You wonder if he could be available for more than 3 outs. Then off day tomorrow. That's ball 2. Because there's a good chance you're going to be looking at somebody like Ozuna perhaps with 2 outs next inning. If you get the first 2, it'd be Stanton with 2 outs. Although you don't figure they would bring Jansen on with the bases empty in a 2-run game, but you never know. Point is, it's not going to be easy without some further offense. Bellinger aboard on the leadoff walk, and Taylor off to a good start in his plate appearance, waiting on a 2-0 pitch. Driven well to right center field. That ball is caught by Yelich. And Bellinger was all the way around second. He will make it back to the bag.
I didn't think Bellinger was going to be able to get back there in time.
It's so easily somehow.
Yeah, it looked like he ran faster back to first than he did when he was taking off from first to round second. I mean, he was reading that ball thinking it was going to be a gap and thinking he was going to score on that ball, but after that was caught.
Long strides. Barnes knocked in the last Dodger run. That was back in the 4th. 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th. Marlins' own run came in the 5th. Strike 1.
Well, the Dodgers had an opportunity their last inning, leaving the bases. Well, the bases were loaded when you had a pickoff at second base with Bellinger up at the plate. That's one that Corey Seager definitely knows that he can't get picked off in that situation.
Bellinger at first with 1 out. The 0-1. Hill's in there for strike 2. Barnes shoots a base hit to right. Second knock of the day for Austin Barnes. Bellinger safely in there at second. 2 on with 1 out, and another opportunity brewing here for the Dodgers to widen this lead.
It's a nice approach by Austin Barnes. He's been swinging the bat well. Staying inside that ball, getting a nice line drive to right field. Since that 4th inning, he had an opportunity last inning, as we mentioned. That was the first time they've had an at-bat with runners in scoring position, that 7th since the 4th inning, and here's the 2nd time.
Kike Hernandez robbed of a home run his last time. Marcell Ozuna went up over the wall and left. That's frustrating in a vacuum, and it's even more frustrating when you're Kike trying to break out of his slump. He's now 2 for his last 28. First and second with 1 out, and Phelps delivers a 1-0. Spins away, ball 2. Recently engaged Kike Hernandez. Who isn't in this group? He's got Bellinger at second and Barnes at first. And he takes strike 1. Just outside. 3 balls and a strike on Hernandez. As good of a fastball hitter as anybody. He will sit dead red here. Tails inside, ball 4, and again the Dodgers have the bases loaded. And in this situation, it's with 1 out. Jock Peterson comes up. Here they are back into one of those situational hitting spots.
And the key to Jock is look for a pitch up. One, you know, they probably don't want to, if it's low, if it's a breaking ball in the dirt, then there's a possibility for a wild pitch. But you want that one up to possibly get in the air and get that sacrifice fly.
First one. Down the middle, strike 1. That was the one you were looking for.
You separate the plate, separate the middle of the plate, and you look up in the zone, and you be ready. You don't assume. It's not about picking the pitch. It's just being aggressive, believing that, all right, it's an opportunity to knock someone in. Just looking in an area.
2 walks and a single in the inning. And Peterson now falls behind 0-2. It's not often talked about, but it's something I hear you harp on all the time, being ready to hit the second you step in the box.
It's having a plan, as I mentioned, as I was saying, okay, the plan is bases loaded, man at third base, less than 2 outs. Separate the plate. I'm going to look for up in the zone, thinking if he wants to stay down, if he hits with a fastball, tip my hat, but I don't want to roll over and maybe ball in the dirt, but be ready to execute. That was it. That was the pitch. See, that was the same pitch. That's the spot you're looking. But let's just say you swung at that first one and you had the same result. You fouled off the first pitch. Now yourself, you know, okay, now I know what the adjustment I need to make. But it was only 1 strike, so I have 2 chances to get it done rather than doing that with 2 strikes. And now I better execute the next one if I get it again.
Been all fastballs from Phelps. Dodgers trying to squeeze at least another run out of this thing. Up 3-1 in the 8th inning. The 0-2. Strike 3 called on the outside corner.
You would have had, you're giving yourself 2 chances to try to come through and execute your plan, because you really don't think big league pitchers are going to give you 3 chances. You know, there's sometimes where they're going to still make a good pitch like they did and paint the corner.
So it's up to Chase Utley. Bellinger at third, Taylor at Barnes at second, and Hernandez at first. Strike 1. Obviously the equation changes now with 2 out. Utley had a pinch hit single in last night's game. Only guy not to get a start this weekend. Dave Roberts acknowledged that. Love to get him in there before too long, but knows that Chase will be ready whenever he calls on him. One and one. First career major league hit for Chase Utley was a grand slam when he was with the Phillies, 2003. Hit it against Colorado. 6 more between then and now. Perfectly placed, strike 2. Phelps has made some good pitches.
Well, he paints the outer half against Jock Peterson to get him looking, and the same spot right there on Chase Utley. 2 really good pitches.
Bases loaded, 1-2. Utley lifts one to deep right. Stanton's back. He's got room in the corner to catch it. And for the second inning in a row, the Dodgers squander a bases loaded opportunity.
Can hold off the Marlins for 6 more outs. They will pick up their 9th consecutive win as well as their 11th sweep of the season. That would lead Major League Baseball. Access Sportsnet Dodgers, brought to you by your Southern California Nissan dealers, is right after the game. John and Jerry and Ned will break this one down, including Rich Hill's performance as well as Justin Turner with some quality at-bats today, guys.
All right, and Brandon Morrow on for the bottom of the 8th inning. Been really good for the Dodgers. His last outing, he went through Stanton, Yelich, and Ozuna like a hot knife through butter. Got a soft pop-up from Stanton, struck out Yelich, struck out Ozuna. And in this case, it'll be D. Gordon pinch hitting to start the inning out of the 9 spot, then Prado, then Stanton. Batting champion a couple of years ago before the PED suspension derailed things last year. On the first pitch he sees, hits one to Seager. That juggle cost him. Leadoff man aboard.
I'm going to go look at that. I probably have a look just to make sure he did beat this. But you're right. When it's D. Gordon on the hill, up at the plate, you can't bobble anything, and that ball just eats him up, that last hop. And he definitely beats that out.
So just like that, the Marlins have the tying run on base, or tying run at the plate. And the top of the order here, Martin Prado. What you would give for a double play here. Because after Prado, it'll be Giancarlo Stanton. Off the end of the bat, Bellinger has 1 play at first. Up to second goes Gordon, and with 1 gone, Stanton will come up representing the tying run. So this is the part of the order that strikes fear into just about anybody. But again, it's the part of the order that Morrow is able to carve right through on the opening night of this series. Could be the last time the Dodgers have to see Stanton this year, and they'll be just fine with that. Tying run at the plate in the 8th. Strike one. Late movement on that one from Morrow.
It was a really good pitch by Morrow. I mean, that slider, as you mentioned, that late movement, but there was a really tight spin going toward home plate.
Gordon at second with one out, and Morrow to Stanton with an 0-1 pitch. Barnes wants it up, and he gets it there for strike two at 99.
Not only do you hit your spot, but you hit your spot at 99 miles an hour. Just a great pitch by Morrow. This is a situation we were talking about last inning, about Dodgers trying to get those insurance runs.
Going up again. And finishing the job. 97 this time, and 2 gone in the 8th inning.
I mean, Morrow doing an excellent job. Started off with a good tight slider, then fastball up, and then fastball up again, just climbing the ladder. When you throw that hard and you throw it up in the eyes or in the top of the strike zone as a hitter, the ball looks bigger, so you think you're going to be able to get on top of that ball and catch up to it, and he just throws it right by Stanton.
What a job by Morrow. And now with 2 gone in the 8th inning for Christian Yelich. On comes Kenley Jansen, looking for a 4-out save. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Jack in the Box. Come try the new sweet or spicy barbecue bacon cheeseburger and chicken sandwich. Limited time only. Back in Miami, and the Marlins, a lot like the Dodgers today, have struggled when they've had opportunities. 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. And now having to deal with Kenley Jansen. 22 saves this year in 22 tries. And 8 of those 22 have been of more than 3 outs. So he'll try to get another one of those here as he faces off with Christian Yelich. You know what's coming when you're a hitter. That's one thing. Actually hitting it is another. Nobody's been able to. 1 ball and no strikes on Yelich. One and one. All-star for his 2nd consecutive year. 3 strikeouts in the 9th inning. Tuesday night in this ballpark. Gordon started this inning with an infield single. He's at second with 2 gone. They've called a balk on Jansen. Dave Roberts out to argue with Mark Carlson.
You know, they called a balk on him in the All-Star game, and he knew it because we've seen Kenley Jansen kind of do a quick pitch over the course of the season. He did in the All-Star game where he didn't stop. Now they're trying to see if he didn't stop here, and I thought he actually stopped. He actually just stopped up. He definitely stopped there. And that's what they're saying, that he didn't stop, but he did. And it doesn't really have to be much of a stop, as we've seen throughout the big leagues where they don't call it, where some we're like, how did that not a balk? And the umpire's like, oh, he stopped, and it's not much. And
just have to have a pause. And there was one. The fact that there's 2 outs means it's not as big of a deal with a runner at third. Here comes a 1-1 pitch to Yelich. Strike 2. He balked in the All-Star game Tuesday, like you mentioned. That's his first balk in a real game since 2011. His 1-2 to Yelich. Popped up, foul ground. It will reach the seats.
And the one in the All-Star game, like, he knew it too. Like, he knew, like, oh, that's right, there's a man on, you know. Because I was trying to quick pitch him. It's like,
would love to be able to get Yelich here and face Ozuna to start the 9th with the bases empty. Kind of power he has. And back to Tuesday, he was kind of just messing around here. Facing off with Avisail Garcia. Yeah, there's not much pause there.
Like, you know, it's like, oh, totally forgot there was somebody on.
He knew it. More serious circumstances in this case. A 1-2 to Christian Yelich. Bounced off his glove into center, base hit. It's a 3-2 game as Gordon scores, and Ozuna will come up representing the go-ahead run.
We talked about Yelich coming in to this series and what the damage he's done against the Dodgers, and he continues to do damage against the Dodgers. About him over his last 7 games versus the Dodgers here at Marlins Park. Came into the series batting over .538 and increased that average. Is another multi-hit game.
Ozuna. .23 home runs this year. National League leading 70 driven in. Not driven anybody in today, but should get credit for a run because he stole a homer from Kike Hernandez, climbing to the top of the wall and left in the 7th. Two gone, 8th inning. Tying run at first. Go ahead run at the plate. Something Kenley Jansen has worked on more and more over the last year or so. Strike 2. vintage cutter from Jansen right there. The 0-2. Kenley Jansen, between the All-Star game and his outing on Friday, came down with a virus and really was not feeling well at all. His wife, his baby both got it. And when he pitched on Friday, it was pretty lightheaded still. Wasn't quite feeling himself. Over the hump yesterday. Back to 100% by now. Here's his 0-2. Yelich takes off on a pitch that's fouled off of the mound.
See, Austin Barnes wanted this pitch up, and it actually went right down the middle. And gets a piece of Barnes.
Big piece.
Looked like he was kind of moving his jaw a little bit, which is understandable.
Yelich an RBI single to make it 3-2. Big lead at first. Jansen sends him back. Base hit to center. Tying run into scoring position. Go ahead run at first. And Justin Bour coming to the plate with his 20 home runs.
You have to give credit to Ozuna because he fought off some pitches from Jansen. And he does a good job just taking that pitch right back up the middle.
One of the concerns now becomes the fact that Kenley Jansen has had to exhaust at least 16 pitches, at least 17 pitches here on the final out of the 8th. You only have so many bullets in that holster going into the 9th. At this point, nobody up in the pen, but the worry could come in the 9th with that pitch count. Tying run aboard, 8th inning. Jansen to Bour. Strike one.
I was thinking the same thing. The amount of pitches that he still has, the 9th inning as well. I mean, obviously, Dave Roberts hoping that he would have got that quick out when he came in. But, you know, that was a decision he had to make, when, especially the way Morrow looked, especially after just striking out Stanton.
Strike two.
Definitely a strike on pitch cast. I think because where Austin wanted that pitch, he wanted it up and out of the zone, but it actually went down. Kenley missed the spot, so it actually did head to strike, but it looked like it was a ball, especially as fans, you're looking where the catcher set up and where he caught it.
Most of the time when Jansen calls the catcher out with 2 strikes, as we've seen, the next pitch is a slider. See if that holds here. Fastball gets him swinging. Takes off on him at 97. Instead of the signature cutting action, he dug deep and put him away and holds on to the 1-run lead to the 9th. Dodgers in front by the narrowest of margins as we open the 9th inning, 3-2. And Dustin McGowan now into the game to pitch. More importantly, we want to correct something from last inning. The pitch count we were tracking on our scoreboard, that included the 5 pitches that Morrow had thrown. So Kenley Jansen's pitch count isn't as high as our graphic was showing. It's at 14. Much more manageable than 19, heading into an inning where he needs 3 outs to finish off his work. So 14 pitches for Kenley Jansen. That's still a lot to get the 1 out, but relatively under control as he goes into a 9th inning where he'll face off with 6, 7, and 8. Top of the order for the Dodgers. One more opportunity to add on. Logan Forsythe looks at strike 1. Back-to-back innings where the Dodgers had bases loaded opportunities and couldn't convert. It's inside and it's 1-1. Just the way the baseball gods tend to work when you leave the bases loaded like that back-to-back innings. Really had a bad feeling to it last inning. 2-1.
Well, we kept saying about the Dodgers needing to get those insurance runs, just the feel of this game. There were definitely moments where you saw the Marlins gaining momentum. Thought Fields did a good job kind of taking some of that momentum away after they had scored that run in the 5th. Avilan did their job. But I also think just from the offensive side, not putting some runs up, not taking advantage of both those innings with the bases loaded, kind of put that momentum back to the Marlins, and they've just been kind of hanging around, chipping away. And this, obviously, there's still a lot of game left here. Dodgers only up by 1.
Forsythe's hit the ball hard all weekend. A full count. Not much to show for it. 2 for 10. 2 flyouts to deep center field today. The payoff. Got him swinging. Nasty tail to that pitch from McGowan for the first out of the 9th. Well, that ball that Corey Seager couldn't glove cleanly off of the bat of D. Gordon to start last inning, that's been ruled a base hit.
Yeah, which was shocking. I had to look up and do a double take because I put it E6 automatically in my book.
It's hit hard, but right at him.
Yeah, it's one of those where even if he feels it cleanly, he gets D. Gordon out.
How much do you factor in Gordon's speed if you're the scorer?
You factor it in, but even when I think that's a thought, but not on a ball like that, hit right at him and bobbled.
Well, especially when after the juggle, it was still a bang-bang play.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like I said, if he feels it cleanly, I don't think there's any doubt that D. Gordon's out.
Here's the 1-1. Seager takes ball 2. On to Chicago, and this one finishes up. Dodgers will spend the day there tomorrow, and then 2 with the White Sox Tuesday and Wednesday. Hoping that they're carrying a 9-game winning streak into that. McGowan's 2-1. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fly to left center field. Yelich on the move. That ball's taken off to left and caught by Ozuna. Some kind of slicing action to that thing.
You were talking about the slice of that ball. Remember the first inning when we saw Yelich kind of take an unusual route on Seager on the same ball that seemed to just keep slicing away from him. And I'll tell you, for Corey Seager, that's one of the balls when you hit, you're hoping that get over his head, not just because of the double and how it helps your team, but also when you look at what Corey Seager getting picked off in the 7th and with the bases loaded, and then also bobbling that ball on D. Gordon.
On the first pitch, Justin Turner pops it up. Moore will catch it. Fasten those seatbelts out of the bottom of the 9th inning. The Dodgers 3 outs away from a series sweep and a 9th consecutive win, and Kenley's ready to go. $40,000 fans. You get a replica Justin Turner jersey. Compliments of United Healthcare. Go to Dodgers.com/promotions to learn more. On to the bottom of the 9th inning. Kenley Jansen and the Dodgers trying to finish off a sweep. Got the final out of the 8th inning. And now faces Derek Dietrich delivering ball 1 high. That is his 15th pitch that he's thrown. Officially, it was 14 pitches that he needed to get the 1 out in the 8th. Dietrich has struck out all 3 times today. Does have pop, though. 1-1. Jansen said he gained so much confidence, really a different view of himself and what he did in the postseason last year. An extra long to close things out. Shanked foul, and it's 1-2. Signed that big contract in the offseason. That helped add confidence, helped add responsibility to his plate, and he has embraced that. See some guys go the other way when they sign the big deal. As he's up, put too much pressure on themselves. Kenley's taken a notch above. Starting the 9th inning with a 2-2 count on Dietrich. Ellis and Riddle to follow. Struck him out looking. 1 gone.
Kenley Jansen just painting the corner. I mean, this one, because of the cutter, starts off a ball and then cuts back on the outer half. That was a perfect pitch by Kenley.
And as we've seen through the years, some days that cutter's low 90s, sometimes even has a looping action to it. Other days turns it up to 97 like he did to finish off Bohr last inning. So tried at 95 for that K. A.J. Ellis, who's caught him plenty of times. Takes ball one. Grips it like a four-seam and just lets it rip. Cutting action natural. One and one. Ellis has been the best hitter for the Marlins today. 2 doubles for Miami. One home run this year came in the final game before the All-Star break. The 1-1 off the end of the bat, strike 2. The 1899 Brooklyn squad, the only other to have this dominant of a stretch. They went on to win 101 games and a National League pennant. The 1-2 pitch. 2 gone in the 9th inning.
Kenley Jansen in his 2nd inning. I mean, in that last inning, obviously they got some hits off of him. They scored a run. But when he attacked Bohr, like he just turned it up a notch when he struck out Bohr. And then so far this inning, it looks like he's even gone to the next level too. There's just attacking and determination on Kenley.
Up to JT Riddle. And boy, you're right about him painting. Strike 1.
That last inning there, we saw a few of his pitches just missed his spot. We even saw where Austin Barnes moving, got a call strike. But this one, it's like, listen, I am locked in. I am closing this out.
Same spot, same result. And the Marlins down to their final strike. Those brooms are getting dusty from overuse. Set for the 0-2. Turner's got it at third. 9 in a row for the Dodgers and 11 sweeps on the season. Kenley Jansen again goes more than an inning to get a save. And on a day where for a while it didn't smell real good with some missed opportunities, the Dodgers find a way to hang on.
And it takes everybody. Justin Turner having a tremendous day at the plate, going 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a home run as we look at our Lexus player of the game. And how do you finish off being the Lexus player of the game? You pick up your closer with a fine play to finish off the sweep.
29.